Let me tell you, I had to do some study for this video. So the study I had to do was to really understand the importance of a foundation in order to build a house. Now, this house is still in the process of being built, right? But you think that what makes a house is the windows, right? Is how great it looks, if it's big, if it's small. We usually, when we see a house, we always think about, wow, look at this house. This is a beautiful house. Actually, I'm going to tell you that. Every time people see a house, we never say, wow, this is a good foundation of a house. We never say that. We always say, wow, this house is beautiful. I love the windows. I love what the view it has. All those things are the things we talk about when we talk about a house. But I'm not going to talk about the house today, but I'm going to talk about the foundation of a house, because no matter how great, how beautiful, how the decoration and the paintings and all the things that are going to be placed in this house, if it has no good foundation, it won't really last. Because the point of a foundation is to make sure that the house can stand on good ground when there is flooding, when there is rain, when there is the wind. Because what makes a house stand is not how strong the walls are, but it's how the foundation is strong. See, usually in life we get so busy trying to work on the things around us. We are trying to finish our house where it looks great. It looks perfect. But what's the foundation of the house? Yes, I know you look great. You look, like goals, and everybody sees you and they admire you and everything that you post. People like it. But what's the foundation? Can you stand the hard times? Can you stand when no one is around you? Can you stand when you lose your job? Can you stand in different seasons? Because the point of a house, it's so no matter what happens, no matter the season, the house can stand, because so those who are living in the house can be safe. Can be safe. That is the point of a foundation. See, I was looking at different foundations. See, I'm not in engineering. I'm not in construction. So I was very confused when I was doing studies and trying to understand all these things about houses and building. But I realized the point of foundation is so those who are going to move in the house can be safe. So the point of a house is not only to live it in. It's not so you can have a beautiful house to impress people with. It's so you can be safe in it. That is why a house cannot be built over a day. That is why no matter who you are going to get, if the foundation is not strong, it's going to fall. And if it falls, people are going to die. I don't know about you, but I have heard of different buildings that have fallen down on people and people died. The house was great. The building was impressive. But because they were building it so fast, they never placed a strong and steady foundation. So is it more important to have a house that is impressive, or is it more important to have a foundation that is strong? See, because in Luke chapter 6, verse 47 to 49, it says, as for everyone who comes to me, that's what Jesus is saying, as everyone who comes to me and hears my words and put them into practice, I will show you what they are like. They are like a man building a house. Who dug down deep and laid the foundation on rock. When a flood came, the torrent struck the house, but could not be shaken because it was well built. 49. But the one who hears my words and do not put them into practice is like a man who built a house on the ground without a foundation. Okay? The moment the torrent struck, that house collapsed and its destruction was complete. Wow. So Jesus is saying that everyone can hear my words, but not everybody can receive my words. Is it possible that Jesus is saying that I don't want you to only receive me, but I want to live in you? and put them into practice. I love this part. Actually, I feel like 47 is more important because it says, as for everyone who comes to me and hears my words and put them into practice. Put them into practice. See, because the word of Jesus are meant to be our safety. Because about Jesus is not about how you can go to church on Sundays, how you can read the Bible, but it's who he becomes in you. Anybody who hears my words and put them in practice, they are placing a foundation for their lives. Because he's saying, anybody who hears my words, they may look like they know me, but they don't know me because the house looks great. But when comes tough situations, they will not stand. When comes different season, whatever they showed people that they were, they will never stand. And that is why the people will always know us, not by the things that we say, but by our fruits. And that is why I strongly believe that the only way you can know someone is not only by the things that they tell you, because it is always easy to impress people by the things that we put up. But our actions will always speak louder than our words. What's your foundation? Who is your foundation? The way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the way that you dress up, the way that people see you. Because you cannot be of Christ and not be like Christ. It can't really work like that. Because the more you become like Christ, the more he becomes the foundation, and therefore you have the safety to know that no matter what comes your way, you will stand. See, this is the thing that people never understand, is that we think that when we become Christians, we can never have problems. That when we become saved, everything is going to be perfect. We are always going to be strong. We will never have any conflict. But let me tell you, no matter how strong this house is, when the wind comes, it comes to all the houses in the neighborhood. When the sun struck on every house in this neighborhood. Because everything that comes in our lives, they don't care if we're saved or not, because that's how life is. That's why we always say that life is unfair. Because you don't choose at the things that come in your life. You don't choose, you don't control it. And that is why it is important to understand that our lives is not the things that we show on social media. It is not how many likes or followers we have on Instagram. It's not how many people are choosing to follow us on Snapchat. It is not how many people comment on our pictures on Facebook. It is actually the foundation that we have when we have hard times. It is the fruits that we show people. It is who we become. It is the fact that we're safe, that the peace of Christ is in us. That is why even Jesus said, peace I leave to you. Peace I leave to you. Peace is part of the foundation I will give you, that no matter the storm that comes in your life, no matter how strong you are in your faith, there are days you are going to be challenged. No matter how strong you have always felt, there are days you feel you won't feel like you can pray. There are days you won't feel like you are feeling God being close to you. There are those seasons where your faith will be shaken. But that's the point. When your faith will be placed on the test, when your faith will be tested, when you will be challenged, where will you be? What's your foundation? Will your house be able to stand? Are the words of Christ the part of the faith that you have, or are your foundation on the name of a church, or the name of a pastor, or the name of a bishop? Are the words of people more loud in your life than the word of your Savior? Is it possible that you can know the words of people but not know the words of God? What's your foundation? See, because if the only foundation of your faith is on the church you go to and not the one that you follow, when the church does not stand, you won't stand, because your foundation was never on him who gives peace, but your foundation was on man that does not give peace. It is important to belong in a church, but it is also important to understand that belonging in a church and relying on Christ are two different things. What is your foundation? Because see, this house is huge. This house has a first floor and second floor, and even has a ground floor, a basement floor for parking. I mean, I'm sure that this house is going to be great. But would you like to know how long it has been taking this house to be full? This house has been being built for more than 6 years. Now, some of you may say, maybe it's financial reason, because it does not take that long to build a house. Indeed. But no matter how long it's going to take you to complete the house, just make sure that the foundation is important. Because life is not about how we can impress people. Life is not about how well we can buy expensive clothes, or how we can go in every cool parties. Life is about the foundation that we have, because the foundation we have is very important. The foundation that we have will show who we have truly been following, because Jesus says that everyone can hear my words, but not everybody follows me. And that is why we have so many conflicts among Christians. It's not because everybody is not having Christ as a foundation. Therefore, do not judge them, neither condemn them, because this is not what this is about, this video. But this is about truly understanding that our foundation is what makes our whole life. Our foundation must be Christ, because we must be safe in whatever we build. It may be building a career, it must be building a relationship, that everything you're trying to invest in, your friendship, your work, your family, whatever it is, your business, we all have things we're trying to build, but just make sure, does he have a foundation? And is that foundation strong? Is that foundation steady? Is that foundation being able to bring safety? Because safety is more important than building an impressive house. Because he says, those who come to me and hear my words and put them in practice, they will be like those who build a house on a rock, not on the sand. See, this is the point. You can go on the beach and you build a house in the sand. But guess what? When the water comes, it takes and washes the whole house away. You move as people move. You move as the new trending things are around. You don't stand. You change because things are changing. You don't have to change because things are changing. You just have to need a foundation. So no matter what comes your way, you understand that the word of Christ will always be your safety, because every time that Christ is there, he brings peace. So, what's your foundation? Is Christ your foundation? Or are you busy building a nice house that you forget that you had to first start from the beginning? What's your foundation? And is it safe? Is your house safe? Can anybody that comes in your presence feel safe? Can people see that no matter what happens in your life, you may not bring solution to everything, but you trust in the one that brings safety? Because his joy becomes your strength in times when there is nothing. He becomes your joy. Is it the foundation that you have, or is your foundation on different people? But yet we forget that people come and people go, and therefore if we're always having people on our foundation, we lose who we are. But in Christ, we find who we are. Because we have a foundation that not only does that last in our lives, but he lasts for eternity. And we need a foundation that lasts beyond our time. A foundation that lasts in eternity. And therefore, what's your foundation? But most importantly, who is your foundation?